So this North Korea thing isn't going away fast. Pyongyang says they do not plan to hold any talks with Washington about its nuclear program because of the dotard in the White House.
You are going to love President Trump.
He just keeps poking them. Possessing nuclear weapons was a matter of life and death for North Korea, said the Director General of the North American Department of North Korea's Foreign Ministry. There apparently is such a thing. The North American Department of North Korea's Foreign Ministry said possessing nuclear weapons was a matter of life and death for North Korea. Apparently it's a matter of life and death for us. Why we need them so much, I've never been able to figure out. No one's ever explained it to me. Our world-famous NHS is turning people away because we can't afford to restore their sight, and we can't afford to restore their knees, and we can't afford to restore their hips, or pretty much do anything at all other than make them wait in the corridor. And we're spending hundreds of billions of pounds. It's an open check we're spending for weapons of mass destruction that, by all accounts, we'll never use, not now, not ever, never. Why do we need them? If you know, please let me know, because I don't know. And I've never been able to figure it out, why we, a small, relatively insignificant banking racket off the coast of Europe, needs weapons of mass destruction. What for? Still, it's very profitable, I suppose. Cho Son-hui. You know Cho Son-hui, don't you? He is the Director General of the North American Department of North Korea's Foreign Ministry. He told a non-proliferation... Get this. He told a non-proliferation of nuclear weapons conference in Moscow that the United States would have to put up with North Korea's nuclear status. And Donald Trump said...
I'd like to punch him in the face.
Yeah. It's a proportionate response. He went all the way to Moscow to a non-proliferation conference to say that we're going to get nuclear weapons and there's nothing you can do about it. Representing North Korea at a non-proliferation of nuclear weapons conference, declaring that North Korea is going to get nuclear weapons. That makes as much sense as anything else I've heard so far this year. Cho Son-hui, the Director General of the North American Department of North Korea's Foreign Ministry, said the current situation deepens our understanding that we need nuclear weapons to repel a potential attack. We will respond to fire with fire. And the current situation means you know who.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
He is the current situation. He is the man with the questionable temperament.
But I have a strong temperament, and it's a very good temperament, and it's a very in-control temperament. I have a very strong temperament, but I have a temperament that's totally under control.
I keep saying it. Just imagine anybody, any other world leader, or the guy that runs the taxi firm down the end of your road. Just imagine if he had said that. You'd be backing away and calling the police while you were doing it. Still, we're living through this period. You know, for as long as it lasts. And in the future, people will be staring boggle-eyed at the history books of this period right now, thinking, well, what? You've got to be kidding me. This has to be fiction, doesn't it? But we're living through it right now. North Korea's deputy UN ambassador said that Pyongyang would not put its nuclear arsenal or ballistic missile program on the table unless Washington drops its hostile stance. Well, over to you, Donnie.
I'll bring us into war.
So it's not happening, Kim. Of course they need nuclear weapons in North Korea. They need them more than we do. Nobody's threatening us. Apart from the French president, but he's only threatening us financially. Not actually threatening to come in and kill us all, like Donnie is threatening North Korea to rain fire. It's gonna be a huge fire. Kim's regime has made no secrets of its efforts to develop an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of hitting the U.S. mainland cities. Because if the U.S. is run by an unstable egomaniac who threatens to rain apocalyptic fire down on them, they'd be crazy not to want to be able to do the same to the U.S. You're making it worse, Donnie. Yeah, I'm on the verge of thinking that you're not a nice person.
Donald Trump is a very nice person.
Once again, I stand corrected. Just imagine if Theresa May had said that. If Theresa May had said, Theresa May is a very nice person, what would you think of her? But because it's Donald Trump, people go, oh, well, that's just Donald Trump. The North Koreans have been testing, did you hear this? The North Koreans have been testing so many nuclear weapons under one of their mountains. I read the other day that the whole mountain is on the verge of collapsing. They've killed a mountain in North Korea. The CIA director Mike Pompeo said that Kim's regime is on the cusp of getting a nuclear missile capable of striking U.S. targets, and that President Donald Dotard is determined to prevent North Korea from making the breakthrough. They're on the cusp, and Donnie wants to stop them he wants to push them back from the cusp. Maybe you should build a wall around them. Now, why didn't that work? Maybe you should build a wall around them.
I'm building a wall.
There you go.
Okay, I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm building a wall.
He's not building a wall, and Mexico isn't going to pay for it. The CIA director and the U.S. National Security Advisor, H.R. Pufnstuf, said that Trump would still prefer to use sanctions and diplomacy to force Kim to come to the table to discuss disarmament. Does that sound like what Donald Trump would say?
No.
No. Not even close. Donald Trump would never utter any of those words. That Trump would prefer to use sanctions and diplomacy. You can't fit those words in a tweet. Sanctions and diplomacy to force Kim to come to the table to discuss disarmament. That is not what Trump would say. I bet the CIA director and the U.S. National Security Advisor put that information out without asking Trump first. Maybe they gave him a chew toy to amuse himself while the adults took charge. And speaking to a Washington policy forum, they both of these, the CIA director and the U.S. National Security Advisor, warned that the use of military force remains an option to prevent Pyongyang from acquiring a long-range nuclear missile, which means that, whoopee, we're all going to die. How can owning nukes be good for us and the United States of America, but bad for everybody else? That's what makes me curious. Who made us in charge? Either it promotes peace, or it doesn't. That's why we're told over and over again that we must spend an ungodly amount of money on a weapons system that we apparently will never use. Because it promotes peace. So maybe everybody should have one. Don't that make sense? Who don't want more peace in the world? And if it doesn't promote peace, can we save the 100 or 200 billion pounds and spend it on technology to save life instead of ending it? Just curious. Or does that make me a loony left-wing bearded tree-hugging hippie?